Apple launches new hardware, MacBook Pro 14 and 16 inches, with their new in-house M2 Pro and M2 Pro Max chips. The GPU department is where there are the biggest gains in performance when comparing some of their new devices to the M1 equivalents, but one thing I noticed that was quite interesting, is that the 14-inch and the 16-inch are quite different in performances. Gap is a lot more noticeable this year than it was last year. Let's get into it. Before going into the video, please don't forget to subscribe. M2 Pro and M2 Max. If you compare them to M1 Pro and M1 Max, M2 has a couple more CPU cores and there's options for more GPU cores. You can now cap it at 38 GPU cores. Instead of 32, there's options for more RAM or the ability to hold more RAM. So up to 96 gigs now can go into the 16-inch model. It's got Wi-Fi 6E support, it has a claimed longer battery life. One thing to notice, on the product website, the 16-inch model this year is supposed to be a little bit heavier by 100 grams or so than last year's 16-inch model, but when compared them on a scale they were almost identical, so if there's any difference in weight, it's insignificant, and this year there's no big or noticeable innovative features. The only focus is new chips, and they without any doubt are better in both single and multi-core performances. If you compare to M1 chips, there are not any big leaps in performance that M1 chips already offered in last MacBook. The M2 Max chip needs to consume more power than the M1 Max chip at full CPU load. The difference is only about 5 watts in terms of package consumption, but it can add up. However, these systems can easily handle that increase in wattage. The 14-inch and 16-inch models can both handle it. Cinebench, for example, could be run continuously for up to 8 days without experiencing any performance degradation. With the GPU of the M2 Pro and M2 Pro Max, however, there have been even greater improvements. When you look at benchmarks, it looks very impressive, but the real-world gains you get from these GPUs will vary from app to app and really depend on how the developer has used that. When combined with the full CPU load, the 14-inch model struggles. If you look at energy consumption here at the top end, these GPUs can push about 50 watts, which is again about 6 or 7 watts more than what the M1 Max could do last year. Compared to the M1 devices from last year, the performance gap between the 16-inch model and the 14-inch model is much more pronounced this year. I believe this is because the 16-inch model has a larger chip, which allows it to draw more power and perform better. Because these chassis haven't changed in shape or size, the 16-inch with its bigger fans, and just more space in there, is going to have more thermal headroom. There is a noticeable improvement in battery life when running light tasks, but there was no real difference compared to the M1 Pro and M1 Max devices when it came to heavier loads. The M2 devices this year are pretty obvious spec bump up, again not like a major innovative change, but the battery life is still one of the most impressive things that I find about Apple Silicon. If you're looking for a GPU upgrade, it's there. It does feel like Apple looked at this product line this year. Perhaps due to the impending recession or their development cycle, they didn't want to blow too much on this year's kind of changes. This is a good year to upgrade if you're coming from older Intel hardware, but if you want something less expensive than brand new M2 options, the M1 Pro and M1 Max options like the Refurb store are a good place to look. But if you already have M1 Pro or M1 Max hardware because you're in a good position, I advise to wait another year. For more videos like these, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.